Record on recorded. Burbs. Shh. Thank you. Now you're gonna meow? Oh, my breath. Cat. You come here? No. She says, no. No. Hi. How's it going? I am up. Burbs. Aries. Lyra. Cypress. Woo! So loud in my house. Okay. Quiet? Quiet on set? We're good to go? Hi! I am Aubrey AF. Aubrey is AF. Welcome to my very loud video because I have lots of animals and they are very loud. But right now, there's no birds. So I have some stories. Woo! Stories! Because everyone likes paranormal stories. I got lost down the Reddit hole. Yeah? Okay. Would you guys like to see my cat? The one who keeps talking? Cypress. I'll show you. It was a kitty. Press. Yeah? Okay. Are you going to be quiet while I read some stories? Welcome to story time. Some paranormal story times. So, this one was the Burbs. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so as a YouTuber, this is my first video. My house is very loud, and this is gonna be. I don't know how loud it's gonna be when I edit. Since this is my first time, I have some babies here though. You guys you know what? You guys probably want to meet all of my babies. We've got a tree. Audra! Hi. This one is about 11 or 12 years old. We adopted all of our babies. My babies are old. Not the kitty I just showed you. She's very young. And Satyr. Come here, babies. This is my blind child. She's blind. She's got no eyes. Satyr! She's 13. So sad. You're 13. Almost 14. So sad. And I have another cat somewhere. Wherever she is. Nova. After I was rudely interrupted by the Burbs screaming and yelling at their toys, it is story time. My old child Satyr, she farts, she toots when she coughs because she's old. That was some toots. I don't know if y'all were able to hear it. Some toots. Some toots. Okay. Are you guys good? Okay, can I read a story? Okay. My encounter with a ghost back in 2000. So it's kind of an old story, but it's good. This happened when I was 13 years old, spending the Christmas holidays abroad in a rural part of France. My parents are French, and I was born in France, but I grew up in Canada since I was 2 years old. We spent a lot of summer and winter holidays there. I was staying with relatives of mine in their house when this occurred, which was a very old farmhouse. One particular day, my cousins and I decided to stay. Nova, welcome. Welcome. I know. Why did I think I could film a video without being interrupted? Num-nums. That's Nova, the black cat. Bye. Okay. Hello and goodbye. One particular day, my cousins and I decided to stay inside for the day because it was snowing heavily. We spent most of the day just wasting time and horsing around. A little later in the afternoon, my older cousin and I went up into the attic together because she was looking for something, and I followed her because I was curious to see the attic. There was a lot of stuff up there that interested me, like old books and some antique items. Once she found what she needed, I asked her if it was okay if I stayed up there for a while to look around. I'm just getting over a cold. So I keep having a cough. She giggled and said something to the effect of, "Why? It's just a bunch of old shit up here." But yeah, if you want to. I spent about half an hour walking around looking at the stuff until I happened upon some old book from the early 1800s that seemed intriguing to me because I was/am a bit of a literature nerd. I sat down and read it for, my cat is licking my foot. Cypress, no. am I gonna get through a story? Don't think so. Oh my god, no. Alright. Why did I think I could get through a story? I don't know. Okay. I sat down and read it for a little while before deciding that I wanted to take it back to my bedroom to read every night before bed. When I closed the book and went to stand up, my gaze immediately shifted over to a woman who was sitting in a chair on the left side of the room. This briefly startled me at first and made me gasp, because I had never seen her before and I didn't hear her come into the attic. She was wearing a very old clothing, had long blonde hair, and she was quite pretty. She looked like she was somewhere between 25 and 30 years old. She didn't look solid though, and it's hard to explain exactly what I mean by that. She wasn't like the stereotypical Hollywoodized translucent ghost, but she had a certain opaqueness about her that tells you on an instinctual level that you're not looking at a living biological entity. She smiled and said to me, there's French written here. I cannot speak French. No, we'll butcher that. I'm not even gonna try, but luckily there's some English here. Sorry if I scared you, dear. At this point, I didn't feel any fear or apprehension at all. This apparition radiated a kind, warm, and positive energy that I could somehow feel right down to my core, and I felt safe in her presence. It was a very brief encounter, around 5 seconds. After she spoke, she stood up, walked about 7 feet to the right of the room, and faded away mid-stride. I just silently sat there, dumbfounded, for a few minutes when I left the attic. I was hesitant to tell anybody about what I saw, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. A few days later, I decided to privately ask my youngest cousin about it. She was 8 years old, and I figured that younger kids are usually a little more open to things like this and less judgmental than teenagers and adults. My child is looking at me. Yes, true, yeah? Okay, she walks away. To my surprise, she was quite candid about it. When I asked her if she had ever seen a lady who appears out of nowhere, she responded, "Do you mean the blonde lady?" When I nodded, she then said something to the effect of, "Yeah, I see her sometimes. It's okay. She's nice." She told me that she had been seeing her since she was about 5 years old. We didn't really talk much more about it, and didn't tell anybody else what I had seen. It's something that will always vividly stick in my memory, because it was so surreal, and I can still visualize her face when I close my eyes. I never did find out who she is. The fact that the farmhouse was very old would lead me to believe that she almost likely lived there at one time. I don't think that all ghosts are spirits yearning for something. I have read stories about some that come across as harmless and seem happy. Maybe some of them occasionally enjoy visiting places where there are a lot of fond memories for them. That was a good story. So most of these stories are not this sweet and awesome and nice. Some get creepier, but I thought I would include some good stories. It's pretty good. Like, woo! Okay. Onward to the next story. Let's go. Okay, so I'm actually a ghost hunter, and I go out and do a lot of ghost hunting. I go to a lot of the cemeteries around here. I live in Arizona, and I go to many around here. I go out with a couple of friends, and I actually have learned to tap into some of my abilities. I can sense some things around, and, you know, do a couple of the basic medium stuff. And Queen Mary is one of the ships I have always wanted to go to. And now it's rotting away pretty much. And it's really, really sad because I don't think I'll ever get to go. Anyways, I love stories from the Queen Mary. I love them. But I'm just so sad that I'll never get to go. Anyways, so this one I saw, and it's not one of the craziest ones, but I love Queen Mary, so I have to read every single story. And this was a tiny, tiny little one. It's like a boop. I've never shared my Queen Mary experience because I don't think it's that crazy, but everything that I hear from Queen Mary, it's amazing. I fucking love Queen Mary. I am so sad that I will never get to go to Queen Mary. Unless you're like super up there, everyone knows about you, or you're really rich, or are you awesome enough to get to go on and investigate. There's been a couple people, some YouTubers that I've seen. And as I watch each person who goes on there, you see how Queen Mary is slowly dying and rusting, and the rooms are slowly all rusting over and stopping. Oh my gosh, how do I say this? Stopping working. Oh my gosh, what the frick? I cannot speak English. Oh yeah, so that's something about me. I have a hard time forming words. Words are hard. Words are hard. But yeah, so the doors, some of them, cause I think it's the electricity in some of the rooms don't work anymore. So the doors are the, you know, those kinds that open it. And there's a couple that have been shut by probably spirits, and you can't open them again. You can't get it open. So that's sad. But anyways, okay, to the story. Let's go. We were staying on, this is like literally, so we were staying on the most haunted deck, Deck B, room 214 or something. This was years ago. I barely remember details like that. My family and I had taken a ghost tour, and afterwards had rewalked the route. Some people say route, some people say route. I don't know why I cannot read that word and not think route. Anyways. The route and done our own investigation. We never heard the babies crying or smelled the cigar smoke like they told us, but we did see flickering lights only on camera and only on the door of Winston Churchill. While I was sleeping, I would wake up every night at exactly 3:33, which I thought was weird in itself because on the last night, I saw a large built man standing in the light from the window of our room that shone on the wall. I had no idea whether he was outside or in the room watching me. Dun dun dun! Who knows what would have happened if we would have stayed another night. See, it's like a short boop, but yes. So I have seen some spirits literally like right there, and luckily I was awake. So with what I do and stuff, when I come home, I make sure nothing follows me home. You know, you tell them to stay, they're not allowed to follow you home and all that. And I do a lot of witchy things, and I protect my whole apartment. I protect it. It's protected. Because I am terrified. Terrified to wake up one night and have something like right there in my face. My bed is sacred. My bed is my space. Do not do that. You can do it to me in the daytime. Cool. I've had a couple of those. I had one scary, crazy, awesome experience with my sister with a spirit that we both saw right here. And the thing is, I've had spirits here, like right here before, a couple times, and it wasn't that scary, but she was staring right into my eyes, guys, right into my eyes. Don't care if you believe me or not, do not care, because that experience, I have so many crazy experiences, and that is like one of the top. Her face, that's a whole nother story. I'll have to do that as a story time, which none of you, like half of you guys probably won't believe me, that's fine. But it's one of my favorites, and it's awesome. Okay. Oh my gosh, if any of you guys have ever stayed at Queen Mary, put your stories in the comments. OMG, please. Okay, next story. My experiences with spirits. Feel free to tell me your thoughts. I have had 2 experiences with spirits my entire life. I am 20 years old at the moment. When I was about 8 years old, I had my first experience with a spirit. I remember it was around 11 p.m. at night, and I was watching TV in my grandma's room. After 30 minutes of cartoons, I was feeling tired, so I turned off the TV and tried going to sleep. After about 15 minutes of tossing and turning, I turned on my left side and opened my eyes. Once I opened them, I see a woman standing 6 feet away from me. She was illuminating light and casted a yellowish silhouette. She had blonde hair with white robes, and it looked as if she was holding a baby. She was also staring at me with a soft, gentle smile. You're like, that's nice, that's nice. It's like, are you my spirit guide? Are you just someone gracing me with your presence? At the time, I wasn't actually afraid. I actually felt kind of safe. I tried rubbing my eyes, but she wouldn't go away. It was actually interesting to see the lamps in the room were off, so she was casting her own light. I stared at her for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I didn't know what to do. My grandma was sleeping in the same bed as me too. I didn't know if I should wake her up or what, so I just kept quiet. After a while, I felt a little uneased, so I put the blanket over my head in hopes she'd go away. I eventually fell asleep and woke up the next morning confused and scared. It took me a few months to tell my family what I saw that night. So, because I read this already. That was a good part. I was like, okay, this is going to be another good story. Yeah, another good story. No, it's not that scary, but yeah. Well, okay, just people who don't see spirits all the time, it would be very scary. This next part. The second experience happened in a different house that my grandma moved into. Why are they always around her specifically? That's in quotes. Quotes. This was about 4 years later, and I was 12 years old. this experience wasn't as long. I remember I was using the bathroom in her house. After leaving the bathroom, I turned off the lights while facing away from the mirror. However, as I turned around to look in the mirror, I saw the clearest face in the corner of the glass. It was a woman with dark black hair. She smiled. A big smile. No, this wasn't a soft, gentle smile like the scream before. This was almost sinister. I froze for a couple of seconds and slammed the bathroom door. It again took me much to open up about this. I asked my parents and grandparents about this. They all said they saw things as well. They say it runs in the family. I know this might sound bizarre and unbelievable, but I know what I saw. These experiences definitely made me believe in an afterlife. If you have any questions or thoughts, let me know what you think. I love those. Gravy. Dun dun dun. Atria, you're so cute. My babies are always around, so I'm always talking to them. And you know what's sad? You guys can't even see. Atria, come here. Come here. Come here, my cute little babies. Come here, my little tree. This is my little tree. You're cute. Oh, Toots! My other dog is tooting right now. And coughing. When she hacks up and coughs, she toots. It's adorable. Some people are like, dudes, they're not adorable. To me, her toots are so cute. Cute toots. Toots. Okay. Annie's friend. One summer weekend, my parents, my god siblings, 6, 3, and 10, and their parents had decided that we would go to these cabins at one of the national parks in our province. These cabins weren't creepy or anything. They were actually kind of busy. We rented out 2 rooms for our families. At the time, I was about 15 or 16, the oldest kid in the bunch. So naturally, I became the babysitter for the younger ones, including the baby and toddler. Poor girl. It's been me before. I've had to do that. This was fine because I was well versed in taking care of kids, and I love my god siblings. The 10-year-old decided to stick around his dad, so I was left with the 6-month-old and toddler, which for a lot, that's already a horror story in itself. But we're talking about supernatural encounters, real ones that we've experienced. So, with the baby in my arms and the toddler following me, I decided to go to one of our rooms. The room. As soon as I walked in, I noticed a painting of a forest, a lake, and a red canoe. Something drew me to this painting. Despite how ordinary it seemed, like something that just blends into the background, adding some color, but not enough attention. Yet, I couldn't take my eyes off the painting. Under that painting was a single bed. About 3 feet to the right was a queen bed, and in the corner, at an angle, was a dresser with a large vanity mirror. Tired from the long drive, I sat in the middle of the queen bed with my back to the mirror. My toddler little god sibling, let's call her Annie, wanted to play for the purpose of the story. I'll use my real name because it actually matters this time. So Annie, it's weird that she ended that with a question mark. Matters this time? Yeah. So Annie climbed onto the bed and started jumping, giggling, and having fun as kids do. But her newborn brother hadn't slept yet and was looking a bit restless. I checked to make sure his diaper wasn't full. He wasn't hungry. I figured maybe he was just tired. So I told Annie to go over to the other bed if she wanted to keep jumping. At least it was against a wall and it'd be safer for her to do so. So she complied and continued to play on the opposite bed by the painting. This didn't last long and she moved right back to the bed to continue jumping. Then I noticed the baby was looking around the room, his attention fixated on something. Dun dun dun. I asked Annie to stop and she did. She sat in front of me and suddenly she went serious. She told me she was playing with her friend, a little boy. I thought nothing of it, maybe an imaginary friend. The baby continued to follow something with his eyes. No matter how hard I tried to lull him to sleep, look behind you, someone's behind you, Annie said. I felt chills run down my back. My gut wrenched and something felt wrong. I shook my head and laughed, playing it off. The truth was, I didn't want to look. I was holding a newborn in my arms and I had a toddler. My parents and godparents were busy, starting the fire and cooking our food. My only option was to run, if anything. I joked with her, teasing her, and telling her that, no, someone was behind her. She giggled at me and shook her head and said, no, he's behind you. My friend is, and writing this, I'm still getting the chills because I know how this unfolds, so bear with me. My fight or flight instincts kicked in, holding the baby in one arm and Annie's hand with my other. I rushed out of the room and brought them to the fire pit. My dad snapped a few pictures of Annie by the fire and a large black dog. Mind you, Annie hates dogs, but she loved this random, rather large campsite dog. Her parents were shocked to see her petting the dog, following it around because she'd usually cry and scream at the sight of any dog. even a chihuahua. The night slowly turned in, and we retreated back to our rooms. The whole family gathered in the first room, and I had mentioned, my mom standing at the door, Annie between her parents on the queen bed. She was crying, wailing, and panicking. She looked at me, and the words that came out of her mouth were, "He's dead. Alex is dead. He's dead. His whole family died." And she pointed at the painting. There! I looked at her. My name is also Alex. I'm a girl. I told her, "Annie, no, I'm right here. Mom and Dad are here with me. We're not dead. We're okay." Ooh. She proceeded to cry, still panicking and shaking her head. She was terrified. She looked at me again and said it wasn't me. It was Alex, the boy she had been playing with. Then she looked to my mom and asked why she brought a white dog with her and what his name was. There was no white dog in the room, but Annie could see it standing next to her. Her fear was enough to make us leave. Not 12 hours at that cabin, and we left. She remembers that day very clearly up to now. She's 11 now and still remembers the events of it. She doesn't understand it, but she knows exactly what she saw. I can't tell her the truth because it doesn't feel like doesn't feel like the right time, because we looked at the pictures my dad took of Annie by the fire, and there in the background is a faint view of a little boy standing with her. We thought it was the smoke from the fire, but with the next pictures, it was clear that it was not smoke. It was a young boy. In other pictures, there's also a floating orb in many of them. Nothing wrong with the camera lighting. An obvious orb in our pictures, all near Annie. Whoo! I love that story. That's a great story. And I heard that, I was like, I love that. I have some fun stories about a hotel. I'm not going to go into the details, but I'll just say where I went into a hotel and I saw a female standing right in the corner. I remember I was talking to my husband about it, and he didn't believe me, and he's like, "That's not the story that goes with the room," because we had the story of the suicide that happens in the room and the spirits you're supposed to see in there. But when we went down and read in the book, there was also a female who looked exactly as I described her and how she died in that room and all that stuff. Well, but also in the hotels, you know, spirits can just float around and go into different rooms and whatever. Like, they don't have to stay at the room, you know? Whatever. Anyways, those are the stories I have for you today. This is my first YouTube video. So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited to edit it. I'm not excited to edit it. We'll see how that happens. You can find me at AubreyAF on Instagram. I'm gonna get more things set up. Yep. Message anything in the comments. Whatever you guys feel compelled to write, ask questions, whatever. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is AubreyAF. Oh wait, I need a baby. Come here, baby. I need a baby. We gotta say bye. Thanks for joining us and listening to our stories. I am AubreyAF, and this is Atria. Bye! Bye!